Olá, eu sou Sérgio Martins e esse é o Veja Música. E é hoje com muito orgulho que nós apresentamos como convidado o grupo Garbage, formado por Shirley Manson.
How do you do?
How do you do? Mr. Steve Marker.
Hello.
Mr. Duke Erickson.
Hello.
And a special featuring our host Costabile as the voice of God.
Yeah.
Costabile Salzano que vai traduzir as perguntas.
Ever present.
I think a minha primeira pergunta é sobre Strange Little Birds, que é o disco que vocês lançaram. E vocês estavam falando que demorou cerca de 2 anos e meio na produção. E eu acho que é talvez o melhor disco de vocês desde a estreia. Eu queria saber um pouco mais sobre o processo de gravação. I want to begin about talking about Strange Little Birds. That I think it was your best record since the first one. I think it is your best record, and it took 2.5 years to do it. How was that?
There were 2.5 years between records, but it didn't really take us a full 2.5 years to make. That makes us sound really slow. We're slow, but that makes us sound really bad. I think Butch was working on another project somewhere in there, and I think Strange Little Birds took a year and a half to make. And we all live kind of in separate cities now, so we kind of work sporadically, traveling back and forth, work on it for 2 weeks and then go home for a while. And then sometimes Steve and I would work on it at our home little studios and then bring ideas in. So it was that kind of process, kind of on and off for a year and a half.
O Duke disse que é mais que eles são um pouco lentos nessa questão de produção, que demorou realmente 2 anos e meio para gravar e produzir, e até pelo motivo deles morarem em cidades separadas, isso até torna o processo um pouco mais devagar. Mas isso, mesmo assim, isso não afeta tanto a questão deles, por mais que seja um processo lento, não tem afetado a questão do Strange Little Birds ser tão bom, ser tão coeso.
A gente tem o vídeo da Magnetized. E você, numa entrevista, disse que ela tinha começado como uma canção do Jesus and Mary Chain e depois vocês foram readaptando. Como é que funciona esse processo de composição dentro do Garbage? Vocês vêm com um riff ou com uma ideia de uma melodia e isso vai sendo retrabalhado pela banda? I read in an interview when you said that Magnetized began as a Jesus and Mary Chain song because of the drum beat, and now it's way different from the Jesus and Mary Chain song. How does it work in Garbage? You came with a melody, so Shirley put some lyrics or say, I want to go that way. How does it work between the band?
There's no one way that it works. Every song has its own story about its origin and how we work on it. Magnetized began as just a really simple chord progression idea that Steve came in with, and then it went through numerous changes. We worked on that song on and off for quite a while. So, there's no one formula that we have. I think if we had one formula, we would get really bored. Some songs begin with a jam just between us. Some songs begin with one lyric or something that, like what Steve brought in for Magnetized. It's all different.
And
o Duke disse que Magnetize surgiu de ideias que o Steve trouxe, né? E eles não têm uma fórmula de composição. Eles trabalham mais como se fosse uma jam. E isso, tipo, que borbulha e saem as coisas. Eles não tem um segredo. Eles acham até um tanto meio chato essa questão de ter uma fórmula. Acho que praticamente todas as músicas vão ser as mesmas, né?
Sounds better when he says it.
he's more beautiful than us. So he should be on the screen. Steve, you from the band, you were the guy of the band, the guy of Garbage that always has focus on production, more than being in a band, because you had a band with Butch Vig and you had Angel Fish. How would you define the sound of of Garbage, this mix between rock and electronics. How did you develop this sound? Agora eu esqueci de perguntar em português, mas eu queria saber do Steve, que dos integrantes foi o que mais trabalhou com produção ao invés de ter uma banda e ir para a estrada. Como é que foi criada essa sonoridade do Garbage, essa combinação de rock com música eletrônica?
I think maybe we don't really want to be defined, like we've never wanted to make it easy to say exactly what we sound like, and maybe that's not smart, but that's kind of how we are. And it's really just a combination of everything that we love, and probably you mentioned the Beatles before the show started, and we all loved them when we were growing up, and so there's pop elements from bands like that, and there's noise elements from New York City in 1978, and punk stuff, and The Clash over in London, and electronic things that maybe were happening in the 80s, and some dance music, and it all comes together. It's all the stuff that we loved growing up, and hopefully it just kind of mixes and comes out as garbage.
O Steve disse que é uma combinação de vários fatores, né? Não é aquela questão de só da parte de música eletrônica, do punk rock, nova-iorquino, aquela questão que eles juntam várias influências de quando eles cresceram, né? Musicalmente, desde que eles se formaram como músicos, e isso é o som do Garbage.
Você foi a pessoa que achou Sheila Manson cantando no Angelfish e ligou para o Butch Vig e falou: talvez eu tenha uma solução, uma pessoa ideal para assumir os vocais, né? O que te atraiu na Sheila, particularmente no Angelfish? You were the guy that saw Sheila Manson in a music video of Angelfish and said to Butch Vig, I think we have a great vocalist for your band. What did she have that she attracted you? Besides the head hair.
Well, she had great hair. We were all three of us looking for a vocalist that could help us form a band, and we'd had no idea how we were going to find that. And I just happened to turn on the TV late one night, and Shirley was on there singing with her previous band, and it was just a combination of a lot of everything. Again, things that we loved, and I think we knew that we wanted to work with a woman. And when you think of women that we love in rock bands, it's Debbie Harry and Chrissie Hynde and Susie Sue and Patti Smith and people like that. And I heard her channeling maybe some of those people, and just doing her own thing, totally unique, but it fit into the lineage of those artists that had come before, maybe. So we were lucky enough that she consented to put up with us for the next.
They're regretting that decision now.
For the next couple decades.
O Steve disse que eles estavam procurando uma vocalista para a banda e tudo mais. Eles viram um show dela, que ela estava abrindo um show de uma banda. E aí eles gostaram tanto dela que convidaram ela, porque ela reúne várias características que eles estavam procurando em uma vocalista, até mesmo por ser mulher. Pela autenticidade dela, pelo jeito dela no palco. Então isso atraiu eles nesse sentido de convidar ela para entrar na banda, e está aí até hoje e provavelmente por um longo tempo também, né?
Eu estava comentando com a Sheila antes sobre Susie and the Banshees, né? Principalmente a canção Empty que a gente tem. O que te influenciou como cantora? Você tinha me perguntado por que você decidiu ser um jornalista musical, e eu queria saber por que você decidiu ser uma cantora, e quem foram as cantoras que te influenciaram? We are talking about the influence of Susie and the Banshees, and I would like to know, you wanted to know why I am a musical journalist, so I want to know, why are you a singer, and a great one?
Well, thank you. I don't know why I'm a singer. I feel like in some ways it really happened by complete accident. Although now looking back at my life, it makes a little more sense, but I never pursued being in a band. I never ever thought of myself as a singer, actually, until very recently, if the truth be told. I always just felt like I was somebody who was really fortunate and had stumbled into his wake, basically. But my mother was a singer, and I love to communicate with people. I want connection with people. First and foremost in my life, I need connection, and I think being a singer, that's what you do, you know? So I think that's maybe why.
Who was your major influence when you started? Principal influence?
Well, when I was growing up, my mum played us a lot of jazz records, so it was actually Billie Holiday and Nina Simone and Peggy Lee, Sarah Vaughan. That's what I grew up listening to, but the first rock star that I ever really saw on TV was David Bowie and Susie from Susie and the Banshees, and they both just blew me out the water.
Ela disse que ela nunca pensou em ser uma vocalista, ela não esperava isso. Só agora, recentemente, que ela caiu em si e se tocou. Realmente, eu gosto tanto de me comunicar, gosto tanto de me expressar, então esse é um bom jeito de levar em frente as minhas ideias, né? Então, ela falou que é o primeiro rockstar que ela gostou, que realmente chamou a atenção dela foi o David Bowie, tem a questão do Susie and the Banshees também, então foi bem... Ela não esperava essa questão de ser vocalista, né? Então, e hoje ela está aí justamente por causa deles, né? Se não fosse por isso...
Quando a gente falou por telefone, uns meses atrás, eu tinha comentado sobre os temas sombrios das letras. E pouco tempo depois, a Inglaterra decidiu sair da comunidade europeia e agora os Estados Unidos votaram Donald Trump para ser o presidente. Você acha que vocês foram proféticos? I interviewed you months ago, and we are talking about the darker themes of the lyrics. And after that, and I promise I will never ask again about that. After that, the England decided to leave the communion from Europe, from the European Communion, and then Donald Trump was elected. Were you prophetical?
No, but I did feel that things were turning in the world very, very right, taking a right swerve, which is not really my cup of tea. I like when things are going left a little. And I could see that a lot of human rights were starting to be eroded around the world. So, I mean, we were aware of what was going on globally, and when we were making this record, we were very keen to make sure that we touched on some of what was going on in the world on the record, because we wanted to make a record that was specific to these times that we're currently suffering through.
Ela disse que ela começou a sentir as coisas mudarem, né? Então começou a ver essa questão dos direitos humanos, os problemas dos refugiados, toda essa questão acabou influenciando, assim, afetando a produção, o disco, a composição do disco, e eles quiseram transformar essa parte, trazer essa parte mais dark pro disco mesmo.
But you couldn't predict that Trump was going to win, right?
I am a witch, but no, I didn't have that. I didn't have that superpower.
Ela disse que é uma bruxa, mas ela ainda não tem esse poder todo para isso.
A gente tem um vídeo do Firetown, que é a banda anterior do Duke Ellington, com Butch Vig. E eu queria que você falasse um pouco sobre como é que foi essa experiência e como isso foi render o Garbage. We have our video with Firetown.
Wow.
And it was very folkish, rock folk. And how did it become Garbage?
Well, Firetown was one band along, I guess, both Butch's and my careers that we have tried different kinds of music along the way. We've explored different kinds of music in different kinds of bands, and really all of the music that we've ever done is centered around songwriting. It's about the songs. It's not necessarily about the genre or being anything specific that way. It's just about songwriting and making and recording, making records, and that's what we love to do. So the way we do it, the format in which we do it, is not as important as just being able to to do it, to write songs and continue to work that way.
O Duke disse que essa banda com o Butch é mais mais um jeito deles se reunirem para tocar vários estilos de música, e não tem uma questão tão presa de gravação. Eles são livres, eles querem saber de gravar e tocar e lançar discos. Não é tão funcional e tão rígido como é com o Garbage. Né?
Mas o que chama a atenção no Garbage é que se você tirar os elementos eletrônicos e as distorções, você vê que por trás existem grandes melodias. Né? Existe uma força melódica nas canções do Garbage, uma preocupação em se fazer isso. Né? Ao contrário de que muitas produções que são mais baseadas na batida. I'm saying that if you strip, if you take it out, the electronic rhythms and the distortion of guitars in Garbage songs, you have very great melodies, very good melodies. And now we are living in a times where the beat is more important than the melody. So I would like to talk more about this importance of melody in the Garbage songs.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes back to just writing songs. I think that we're all fans of melodic music. We're all fans of music that you can hum and sing and whistle without any accompaniment, without any backing. The melody has to be strong. It has to kind of stand on its own, and I think that's the kind of songs that we grew up with, and I think that's what we love to do. So we still appreciate a good melody, but we like to mess around with beats and noise and whatever else you have to maybe give that melody and the lyrics some kind of other way to hear it or to feel it.
Ele disse que eles gostam muito de compor músicas melódicas que são com refrões legais, com que você possa cantar, mas também agora eles gostam de coisas mais nervosas, mesmo melódicas, mas também com ruídos pesadas. Então eles não se prendem só nessa questão das melodias.
A gente tem o vídeo do The World Is Not Enough, that foi um Bond Team, não? Tema de uma canção do James Bond. Como é que foi essa experiência para vocês? How was to compose a Bond Team?
We actually didn't compose that. That was composed by Don Black and David Arnold.
But you didn't
we did our own arrangement of the song.
Yeah.
But we were approached by them. Actually, they approached Shirley first because they loved her voice, and she insisted that the rest of us take part in it, and they said yes. So we were really lucky, and we jumped at the chance to do a Bond film. To belong to that club, it was really an honor for us because there's so many great Bond songs, and we really loved doing a garbage version of a Bond song. It was hard work actually to turn this Bond song into a garbage song, but it really worked out.
Eu já tinha falado sobre vocês terem composto porque vocês tomaram conta da canção. I was talking about you composing the song because you took over. It became a garbage song after all.
Yeah, well, one of our favorite things to do is to do cover songs. And it was kind of like doing a cover song. We've done a lot of songs by different people and garbageizing them.
Ele disse que os produtores do filme gostam muito deles, gostam muito da voz da Shirley. Eles acabaram fazendo os arranjos dessa música, né? E foi uma honra gravar essa versão do Garbage para o tema do James Bond. E também eles falam que eles gostam muito dessas questões de vamos dizer assim, não é garbarizar, mas tipo conquistar fãs com covers. Eles gostam de fazer covers do jeito deles e conquistar novos fãs desta maneira.
They asked her to sing solo and she brought you in?
Yeah, David Arnold was really a big fan of Shirley, of her voice, and he invited her to sing it, and she convinced them that she wanted the whole band to be involved.
Man, you must keep this girl at all costs. She's gold.
That's right.
Yes?
Eu queria fazer uma pergunta para a Shirley. Ela estava comentando uma vez sobre o disco solo dela. E eles queriam transformar você numa Annie Lennox e você saiu da gravadora. Como é que foi essa experiência? Se é que você pode contar sobre isso. I read in an interview that when you were trying to do a solo album, the record company wanted you to be a Annie Lennox type. So how was that? If you can feel free or to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sort of an aborted attempt at making a record because we were not really communicating very well, and I was frustrated and I wanted to make music. It wasn't something I particularly wanted to do outside of the band, but I felt like, I don't know, things were just not good for us, and so I had an opportunity to make a record, and I presented my record company with a bunch of songs that I'd written with Greg Kurstin, who at that time, although he's ridiculously well known now, that at that time had never, nobody knew who he was, and Greg and I wanted to make a record live in 10 days for a ridiculously cheap amount of money. And we presented this idea to the record label, and they said, no, this is too dark and too alternative, and we want you to be a pop star, and who is this Greg Kurstin anyway? And I literally at that day just decided I was not going to compromise, and I went home and just gave up making music for a while. I made a TV show instead. Meanwhile, Greg went on to write, I mean, hit after hit after hit. He's up now for a Grammy for Producer of the Year with various different types of artists, and so the rest is history, but it just shows you what record companies know, not very much.
Record company executives still suck.
Most of them still stuck, although there are a few good ones.
Ela disse que ela estava frustrada nessa questão de fazer música, e a comunicação com a gravadora não estava muito boa. Ela apresentou as músicas, eles acharam que estava muito dark, não estava do jeito que eles queriam fazer um negócio mais abrangente ao público, né? E aí ela praticamente, a gravadora não deu bola para eles, fizeram gravar o disco praticamente que ao vivo em 10 dias. Foi uma produção bem barata, e ela praticamente desistiu disso e até fez programa de TV, mesmo com os outros integrantes ganhando outros prêmios e tudo mais, como de produção, mas naquele momento ela não estava muito confortável.
Steve, you said in an interview that rock is not popular right now, but will be. What did you mean with that? Você tinha dito numa entrevista que o rock não é mais popular agora, mas vai ser de novo. O que você quer dizer com isso?
So I said rock was going to come back. I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's not what's trendy on the radio right now, but that doesn't really matter. I think kids are always going to like the idea of loud guitar noise. And it's still a cheap instrument. You can get one for not a lot of money and go in your garage with your friends, and in 2 days you've got a band. And it can be fun, and maybe it's not any good, but it's still fun, and maybe it's a way for you to express something. And there's just something more exciting about that, I think, than getting a laptop with the latest software and pressing buttons. It's still fun to rock out, and I think kids are always going to want to do that.
Ele disse que realmente o rock não está no topo do mundo como estava antigamente e tudo mais, mas ele acha que essa questão de voltar, ele se refere à questão das crianças ainda gostarem de barulho, de guitarra e da questão de montar uma banda de garagem e tocar e se divertir, não ficar preso a um aplicativo ou um programa de computador apertando teclas para fazer música. Ele acha que essa questão das pessoas ainda querem, das pessoas novas, né, os jovens ainda querem essa parte de querer fazer música de garagem, tocar, se divertir. Um jeito de se expressar, desculpa também.
Sheila, a gente tem um vídeo você cantando Because the Night, da Patti Smith e do Bruce Springsteen. Você podia contar um pouco mais sobre como é que foi essa gravação? Yeah, we have a video of you singing Because of Night. Could you please tell us about this recording?
Yeah, we were on tour with an incredible band called Screaming Females, and we've played with a lot of bands over the years, but there was something really extraordinary about Marissa, the lead singer and guitarist of this band, and she stole our hearts. Everybody in the band was crazy for her. And she's from New Jersey, and we were like, we need to do something together, it'd be really cool. And she was like, it's a no-brainer. We have to do a Patti Smith song, and we have to do it, the Bruce Springsteen song, because it was a New Jersey song. And we were like, all right, let's do it. And it turned out phenomenally well. We loved this video that was made by a friend of ours, Sophie Muller, and it just was magic.
E eu tinha comentado com você sobre essa versão de Push It ao vivo que a gente tem, que lembra um pouco o estilo furioso da Patti Smith cantar. We're talking about the version that you did. It's a live version of Push It. It reminds me a lot of Patti Smith. How was she was importance in her career?
You know, she's been hugely important to me. She remains someone I look up to and aspire to and follow, and she's been a light in my career, really, as an example of a woman who has been able to age in a youth-orientated industry and has lost nothing of her power and her appeal. And I just really respect her enormously.
Ela disse que que ela foi muito importante como exemplo de mulher, como inspiração, como seguir na vida, como seguir até na carreira, que ela tem muito respeito por ela e não vai perder isso também.
Você estava também falando sobre a gravação do Because of Night.
Da Because of Night ele falou que ela estava em tour com uma banda Screaming Females de New Jersey, aí elas ficaram muito amigas, aí surgiu a ideia, elas curtiram muito e gravaram, e foi um fenômeno, deu super certo, deu um super sucesso essa versão, muita gente gosta pra caramba. E aí ela gostou bastante e ainda até conversa com as meninas.
Você tinha falado uma vez numa entrevista sobre a Rihanna, Beyoncé, essa importância desse novo feminismo, né? Como é que você vê isso? Porque quando você começou sendo uma front leader, você recebeu muitas críticas e houve comentários até sexistas sobre a sua performance. Você acha que isso está mudando? You said recently in an interview about Rihanna, Beyoncé, and this kind of new feminism. And I remember that when you came up with Garbage, you received many sexist reviews, many prejudice. Do you think it's already changing? How do you see this movement? And for you, how is the importance of girls like Rihanna and Beyoncé?
Well, you know, I feel like when we emerged in the 90s, it was a good time, really, for women's advancement in the world. I was a feminist then, but I didn't feel the same kind of urgency that I do now to declare feminism, to support it, to encourage other women to want to believe in the concept of equality. And I see a lot of reversions around the world right now with regards to women's reproductive rights in particular, but also the fact that women are not necessarily paid the same for doing the same job in a variety of countries around the world. And I won't even touch on a lot of the developing countries where the life of a woman is incredibly difficult. And so I am very aware, though, that in the last 15 years, a lot of young women have divorced themselves from the idea of feminism. They don't want to associate with the movement. And my point is that the movement is simply about equality, wanting equality, which I think is good for men and women. And I am very grateful when I see stars like Beyoncé, who has an incredible reach, you know, millions and millions of followers of young people, not just women, but men too, boys. And I feel like she's encouraging people to believe in feminism, all of us, male and female. And I think that's a phenomenal thing, and I'm grateful to her, as I am Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift, all who have declared themselves feminists. And I feel like it's now more than ever we need that kind of voice out there because things are getting really tough.
Ela disse que ela sente que no começo dos anos 90 teve esse crescimento do movimento feminista e teve os seus altos e baixos, né? E teve uma parte de crescimento, de apoio e também teve uns avanços e retrocessos do movimento nesses últimos anos. E ela fica muito feliz em ter esse tipo de artistas como Beyoncé, a Lady Gaga, entre outros que ela colocou, que encorajam pessoas novas a acreditarem nessa questão do feminismo, tanto sendo homens ou mulheres, né? Então ela gosta muito disso, ela tem muito respeito por essas pessoas.
Duke, o Garbage agora tem sua própria gravadora. O que muda no trabalho da banda ser dona do seu próprio selo, das suas próprias canções e saber a hora certa de lançar um disco e como lançar? Now you have your own label company, your own record company. What does it change in the time that you release? When to do a record, how to do a record, and how to distribute and how to release him? What?
Yeah, well, we got really fed up with the whole music biz, and we found it really constraining and really limiting to how we worked creatively, making business decisions, and it became really stressful. And so now, having our own record label, we've relieved a lot of stress, and we're just having more fun. We're enjoying it because, as you pointed out, we get to make all the decisions, business decisions, artistic decisions. And there's nobody looking over our shoulder as we're making the record. We make the music we want to make. And I think the fact that Strange Little Birds turned out the way it did, I think it's one of our best records too. The reason it turned out so well is because of that. That we didn't have anybody telling us what to do, or we did it for ourselves and no one else.
O Duke disse que eles não ser da própria gravadora não é tão estressante, eles estão se divertindo mais, não tem ninguém enchendo o saco deles para dizer você precisa fazer isso, você precisa seguir desse jeito, todas as decisões são deles, eles mandam, eles querem seguir um caminho, eles vão seguir o caminho que eles acham correto, né? E eles até acham que essa questão do Strange Little Birds hoje ser um sucesso é justamente por essa questão deles serem mais livres, não ter ninguém pressionando, ninguém no ombro deles, cobrando.
Did I say all that?
Yeah. He just puts in more nicely.
Yes, he does. He really does.
He's a writer.
I need all the help I can get.
So, já que a gente está falando de decisões executivas agora, qual foi a opinião mais estúpida que você ouviu de um executivo de gravadora? Qualquer um de vocês queira responder. Since we are talking about record companies, any of you may tell that if you want to. What was the most stupid and idiotic thing that you heard from a record company executive?
Well, stupid or idiotic?
How much time do you
we
have?
heard from a record company. Well, at the time when that guy said no.
Where do we start?
Yeah. The list is long. Putting me on the spot, really.
Well, a couple of things come to mind. One was not to put Number One Crush on our first record. It went on to be one of our biggest hits, and it wasn't on our record, which was infuriating because the record company didn't want it on there. Another one that comes to mind is we wanted to make a video with the director who'd done our video for Special, a really talented woman, for the song Cherry Lips, and they wouldn't let us work with her. They thought they knew better. We ended up making a terrible video, as it turns out, as a result.
One of the worst videos ever made.
There's a billion and one things, but we have to be careful what we say because they're bullies and they'll come down on us like a ton of bricks. I mean, I'm not kidding.
We have been lucky, though, to have known quite a few really talented and really smart people who really looked out for us. There just wasn't quite enough of them.
Yeah.
But, we ended up with our manager right now is one of those people who we knew early on in earlier incarnations, and he was a true believer, and we trust him with our lives now. So it's not, they're not all bad, but there are a lot of people in the music biz who only are looking out to keep their job, and they'll do whatever they can to just do that, and they don't understand a lot of what the artist goes through, or
Care.
music.
Ele disse que a lista, todos eles disseram que a lista de, vamos dizer, de palavras ruins foram muitas, né? Uma lista foi longa, mas chegaram até a criticar, chamar algumas coisas, alguns materiais que eles lançaram de terríveis, de ruins, que não ia levar a lugar nenhum. Mas eles, assim, eles preferem acreditar neles, e hoje, que ele disse que o atual manager deles é uma dessas pessoas que acreditaram neles, viram o poder deles, né, o talento deles, e está seguindo até hoje junto e trilhando os caminhos. Que eles não se afetam nessa questão que a Shirley falou, da questão de bullying, porque muita gente tem essa questão de pegar as coisas ruins e ficar criticando em cima e massacrando. E o Duke também disse que tem muita gente que quer manter seu trabalho, mas não sabe o que faz, mesmo falando de música ou de outro assunto.
I think too. It's the system. It's the music biz, the way it's set up. A lot of it sort of corrupts people, I think, and they have to fit into this ridiculous, already corrupt system. So I think that's part of it as well. Am I just digging a deeper hole here?
No, I totally agree with you.
You're right.
Ele disse que a música também tem uma parte corrompe as pessoas, né? Depende do que ela quer fazer, do jeito que ela tem em mente, corrompe, não tem outra maneira, e a Shirley também acredita no mesmo que ele pensa.
A gente tem um vídeo talvez seja o maior sucesso de vocês, que é o Happy When It Rains. Como é você tocar essa música por mais de 2 décadas e ainda deixar ela fresh, ainda deixar ela nova, né? E vocês ainda terem a felicidade de tocar essa música? Qual é o principal desafio? Happy When It Rains, I think it's your biggest hit, and you played it for 2 decades, perhaps. What is the challenge to make it still sound fresh and it make it still pleasurable for the band?
Well, as you'll see in our show, we have done a little bit of a new arrangement of Only Happy When It Rains to keep it fresh for us and for the audience. But and we do that from time to time with the older songs, just to keep things interesting. But even with that, I mean, it really comes down to just playing for different people every night, a different crowd, because there's always a different feeling. There's always a different group of people who have expectations, and we have expectations of them as well. So that contributes to keeping it fresh every night as well.
Ele disse que para manter essa questão esse hit tão atual, tão novo, eles acabaram fazendo algumas mudanças nos arranjos da música.
Tem um andamento mais lento, né?
Um andamento mais lento, mas também mais pegado. E ele também, assim, a questão de as pessoas esperam disso, tanto no show, porque cada pessoa tem uma expectativa, né? Tanto o fã como eles esperam responder de uma forma ou de uma forma positiva ou não. Então eles precisam ter esse refresh nas composições.
Essa pergunta eu vou ter que fazer em inglês. Shirley, is it true? I read it in an interview that you pooped in cornflakes of your ex-boyfriend.
God, are you listening?
This was going so well.
But it was going so well, and now it's just gone south.
Could we turn off the God microphone?
I'm ashamed to say that is actually true.
Okay. Would
you like me to leave?
No. I would just say that one of my first resolutions for 2017, never, ever had breakfast with
With
Shirley
Shirley Ann Manson. Fair enough. never done it since.
Thank
And
God.
we've had breakfast together a lot.
Well, you must get better boyfriends now. You have a.
I have a fantastic husband, yeah. I learned from my mistakes.
That is important.
That is important.
Bom, infelizmente chegamos ao fim do nosso Veja
We're
Música.
not finishing on that note, are we?
No. No. Otherwise, our tour manager is going to kill me. But it was a really pleasure to have you here. With poop or no poop.
I can't believe everybody poops. Everybody poops.
Not in a cereal, no. In a bowl of cereal.
You're both right.
But there are people who does worse. There is a famous soccer player, and his name I won't tell you, and he pooped in a
This is
in a
the
bowl of
weirdest interview
beans.
ever.
In a bowl of beans?
in a bowl of beans, and the whole team served it with.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, really?
that's bad.
That's disgusting.
don't give her any. Don't give her any ideas.
No, but my boyfriend didn't eat the cornflakes. Just so we're clear. I can't believe my first visit on Brazilian TV and we're talking about me pooping in somebody's cornflakes.
Sunk to this level.
Sergio. Unbelievable.
We've had breakfast many times with Shirley since then, and
It's
I
fine.
can vouch for it. She's never done anything.
Thanks,
fine.
buddy.
Even
I appreciate you
remotely
having my
like
back.
that.
No, but the first thing that you said is you're not pissed with me, right? We're cool, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're ready.
yeah, exactly.
We're cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we sit down for breakfast.
Thanks.
Thank
Steve.
you very much.
Thank
That
you,
was
Thank you so
Sergio.
much.
that was delightful.
Sim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Obrigado e até o próximo Veja Música.